Good morning. Yes, we're going through this week and we are talking about the different sacraments of the church. But there is a sacrament which precedes the church. And this is the sacrament of marriage, matrimony. At the present time, because of our social culture that we're living through, many young people come together, they fall in love, and they move in together. Oh yes, this is quite a common experience. You know, at one time at the beginning of my ministry, which is not that long ago really, I would say to people, what is your address? And the man would give me an address, and then I speak to the woman, I say, what is your address? And she'd give me a different address. But I have noticed over the last 10 or so years that when I ask people nowadays, it's nearly always the same address. They've lived together for many years. They may even have children together and have created a family structure together. And in this family structure, they felt greatly blessed. But there is a sacrament of marriage, the sacrament of matrimony. And in this sacrament, we come back before God once again. And we say to him quite simply, in the beginning, Lord, you created men and women, and you joined them together. And even as you did so, you knew that there would be difficulties. You see, no marriage lives happily ever after. Every marriage you come across, it has difficulties and it has problems. Why? Well, human beings are very selfish people. And men and women are very different in the way they look at the world and how they want to react with the world. And somehow, as we grow closer together, the differences between us can cause great frictions and great problems. We need God's grace to overcome this. We need God's grace to help us to see that these difficulties will exist, but these difficulties can be overcome by God. Now, very often people will say to me, well, what happens when people get divorced? And I say, well, divorce is a great tragedy. It is, whoever experiences it, it's a great tragedy. And they say, well, do you believe in divorce? I say, well, I believe, and I say, well, look at it this way. I have two legs, a left leg and a right leg. And I'm pleased to have two legs. And my body is healthy because I have two legs. But I know that even today, I might go out in the car. And even today, I might have an accident. And even today, one of my legs could be crushed. And I could get to the hospital and the surgeons would look at me and they would say quite simply, I'm sorry, but you have to lose that leg. We have to remove it. We have to amputate it. Now, I say, if you ask me, do you believe in divorce? I will say to you, do you believe in amputation? Well, you'd say not unless there's something gone wrong. And I say, well, of course not. So in the same way as I accept amputation, I accept as well that sometimes people are divorced. Everybody who goes through the experience of divorce knows the horror of it and the anguish of it. And I speak for myself as well as anybody else. I accept the fact that this happens in people's lives. And it is a most painful experience. But God's intention is that we should live in families. And God's intention is that we shouldn't just live together with a casual relationship, but that we should come before him and ask for his grace, that whatever the difficulties we might face, he might empower us and help us to get through it. Today, we have many strange ideas about relationships between men and women. But if we come before God and ask him to show us clearly what it is that he wants, He will bless you. Now, I don't say to you that you're not going to experience divorce, that you're not going to come to a point in your life where you'll have to break the marriage contract. But what I do say to you is this: God will bless you, and he will give you the strength as you come before him and ask for this simple grace in your life. Yes, many people live together. Many people have great relationships together. Many people grow families together. But God wants to give you something extra. And coming before him and making pledges to one another, God will bless both of you and show you the way forward as he pours grace into each one of you. And that simple ring which you place on the finger is not just a simple ring. It is a symbol of God's grace spreading out through your life and affecting everything that you do. Amen.